we'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners on whose land we stand. We pay our respects to our elders, past, present and emerging. I'd like to introduce Stephen Pitt, the CEO of Golf Australia, who's going to run proceedings today.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome today to the beautiful Mount Derrimut Golf Club. I'm Stephen Pitt, CEO of Golf Australia, and I'm extremely pleased to be launching the guidelines for the promotion of equal opportunity for women and girls in golf. I believe Golf Australia has a critical role to play in improving golf for women and girls, and we have taken a leadership position in this movement. To start with, there's some key points I'd like to make today. Firstly, today is not about browbeating golf clubs. Rather, it's about providing information, advice, support and leadership to clubs around the country. The absolute vast majority of golf clubs already offer equal opportunity to players and members. This process was not about the Australian Human Rights Commission coming down on golf. This was golf reaching out to the Commission and saying, let's provide some really clear guidance to clubs to ensure we're doing the best job possible. And finally, this project goes hand in hand with a range of other initiatives aimed at making golf more attractive and accessible to women and girls in Australia. Things like the Vision 2025 project, which Shiloh Curtis will talk about more in just a minute, which is a transformational project in Australian golf. It's a major initiative that focuses on improving the key planks in golf in this country, such as grassroots participation, leadership roles at facilities and clubs and in other organisations, coaching and elite performance for women and girls. Another focus is continually building our professional women's events and making sure we have fair and equitable prize money strategy and structure for both men and women. We see this commitment to make golf as attractive and accessible as possible for women and girls to being critical for a couple of extremely important reasons. First and foremost, we believe the game of golf is a game that significantly improves the health, happiness and well-being of its participants. And there's a great deal of research around that supports this view. Did you know golfers live 5 years longer than non-golfers? And that's about the game providing physical and mental activity as well as social connection for people through every stage of their life. So it's incumbent on us as a game to share the game with as many people as possible. As golfers, we should have a mindset of bringing golf into the lives of women and girls in our lives. Secondly, there's no doubt golf will be materially stronger with more women and girls playing, being members of golf clubs, obtaining coaching qualifications, taking on leadership roles and winning tournaments around the world. Before I finish, I'd like to do a couple of thank yous. Firstly to the R&A, who've supported the development of this document and have really stepped up to play an important role in strengthening female golf globally. And finally, to the Australian Human Rights Commission for their partnership in this project. We've really enjoyed the collaboration and thank you very much for that. Specifically to Kate Jenkins, to Afton Fife, to Maria Toomey and Natasha De Silva for the work that you have done in bringing these guidelines to life. It is greatly appreciated and something we've definitely enjoyed. It is now my pleasure to welcome Kate Jenkins, the Sex Discrimination Commissioner for the Australian Human Rights Commission, to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you for that introduction, Stephen. And I also will start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet and pay my respects to their elders past and present. It's a pleasure to be here today to launch the guidelines for the promotion of equal opportunity for women and girls in golf. The guidelines have been developed by the Australian Human Rights Commission in partnership with Golf Australia. They are particularly timely given the current momentum in relation to the participation of women in sport and particularly Golf Australia's Vision 2025, the future of women and girls in golf strategy. The guidelines provide information about the operation of the Sex Discrimination Act and the practical guidance on how golf clubs can promote equal opportunity for women and girls. The guidelines are informed by the Commission's legal, complaint handling and policy expertise, and particularly led by my colleague Afton Fife, Golf Australia's industry knowledge and then an extensive consultation process. With its unique use of a handicap system, golf is particularly well placed to be an inclusive game for people of all genders and ages and abilities. However, participation rates for women and girls remain low and issues of equal opportunity persist. The guidelines ask golf clubs to provide women and girls with the same services and opportunities that are already provided to men and boys. They are a resource to assist golf clubs in reviewing their policies and procedures to ensure fairness and equality. Many golf clubs have already taken a conscious step towards equality, with most now progressing to gender-neutral membership categories. However, more needs to be done. At some golf clubs, women and girls still can't play on Saturdays, even when they hold 7-day memberships. Can't secure a tee-off time because the timesheet is always booked out by men who can access it 4 days before them. Can't play in competitions because they're only held midweek when they're working or have other fixed obligations. In each of these scenarios, women and girls are excluded because of their sex. And in our consultations, we heard some concerning stories. For example, where some golf clubs require women to provide evidence that they work during the week in order to access Saturday play. The guidelines have been designed to maximise their usability for golf club managers. To facilitate this, the guidelines are structured in a way that answers the questions most typically asked by golf clubs and about sex discrimination and equal opportunity. When is it unlawful to discriminate? Who is legally responsible for discrimination under the Sex Discrimination Act? How can I promote equal opportunity in golf? The guidelines also include a summary of the Act, case studies, a diagram and checklist to support golf clubs promote equal opportunity and comply with the Sex Discrimination Act. I would also like to take time to thank Golf Australia for its commitment to the promotion of equal opportunity for women and girls, and in particular to Simon Magdalski, who's been leading this work. Partnering with Golf Australia has allowed us to combine the Human Rights Commission's expertise, our human rights expertise with Golf Australia's sport and industry expertise to create a document that supports those involved in the game of golf to promote equal opportunity and also comply with the Federal Sex Discrimination Act. And it is also pleasing to have the RNA's support for this important piece of work and their call for other jurisdictions to consider developing similar guidance. So I really look forward to golf clubs implementing these guidelines to support Golf Australia's vision for making golf an inclusive game for everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, look, firstly, I'd like to say a really big thank you to Mount Derrimut Golf Club for hosting today. It's golf clubs like this, our community arm of the sport. They are essentially the shop front of our sport, and I just want to say a really big thank you to Mount Derrimut for offering up their services and facilities today. When I first took on the job, they were one of the first clubs to contact me, in fact, and said, we really want to be doing some work in this space where we're sort of starting from scratch almost in our club, and we want to make sure that our club is really gender neutral, that we're complying absolutely with the law, but we want to be leaders and advocates in the community about what golf can be in the future. So it is really wonderful, and I think quite apt that we're launching these guidelines here today at Mount Derrimut. Vision 2025 is a 7-year strategy designed to, I guess, reinvigorate the game for women and girls in lots of ways. And there are 4 key pillars around that, but none more important than that one around culture and leadership. Culture is determined by leaders, and people within our golf club community, they lead our sport. And having our stakeholders, having people within Golf Australia supporting an evolution of our golfing culture to make sure it is more inclusive and safe and supportive and welcoming for women and girls is absolutely vital. But the contribution from the Australian Human Rights Commission around writing these guidelines gives us a stronger platform on which we want to stand to lead our game moving forward. Having the support of the Commission through these guidelines is helping us be able to deliver our Vision 2025 strategy already, and they haven't even been released yet. So I'm on a 50 location roadshow at the moment around Vision 2025, and that roadshow is one of the key initiatives. There's a whole suite of initiatives around the Vision 2025 strategy, but this 50 location roadshow is one of those, and it is essentially the beginning of a conversation with our community golf clubs just like this, and getting them to understand the challenges that we all face for women and girls within the game. If we want to make the game healthier and stronger and more viable for women and girls, we need to make sure that we lead really well as a golfing community. And so on the roadshow, the guidelines are one thing that we have injected into the roadshow, and already there's a great appetite for this information and this leadership and support. I think golf clubs have been asking or seeking out, or they've been a little bit confused about what will be what their rights are and what their responsibilities are, and I think these guidelines are so perfectly timed around giving our golf clubs some guidance and support, some clarification on some of the issues that might have been a little bit grey and a bit hazy for them in the past. So we're really pleased that we've got these guidelines in our hand now to be able to help our golf clubs lead in the way we want the sport to be led into the future. Some other things that will drop out of these guidelines and also out of the strategy that we want to implement over the next 7 years, but hopefully a little bit sooner than that. We've just launched a pilot program for community golf clubs around supporting them to put in place actions and strategies designed to make their clubs more gender equal. The program's called Even Par, and we're going to roll that out nationally in the coming years. And we're also looking at a suite of different types of participation offerings targeting the needs of women and girls. And I think that's the most important thing here, is that women and girls have their own needs, and we need to make sure that our community sporting organisations, our community golf clubs, actually start with the needs of women and girls, and then we build and develop programs and competitions and strategies to be able to address those. And I think the Human Rights Commission guidelines that we're launching today give us great support around being needs driven, building our sport from the needs of our future and current participants right the way through to our high performance elements. So just a really big thank you to the Australian Human Rights Commission for their amazing amount of work. I want to echo the thoughts and sentiments around Simon McDulsky's contribution, and again the contribution and the appetite for our community golf clubs. I probably really want to thank them the most, in fact, that they are really open and really excited about this work. They have a great enthusiasm for leading the sport and leading the change that we want to see in the game moving forward, and we're really excited about what golf's going to be in the future and the role that it plays in the lives of women and girls. Thank you very much.